Hi guys, this is Alicia from workersonboard.com. I am in my official website on the article page, and I wanted to make this video today to help anyone or show you all exactly how you can write an article, the style or the techniques that I incorporate into writing online for those who are beginners, are new at this, and would like to write or have an interest in doing this, but is not exactly sure how to go about this. There are a lot of companies that will pay you to submit your content, your original content to them online. And you can also write for your own blog or website as well. So I'm going to make this video, kind of make a tutorial video and show you guys how the different styles and all of that I use to write articles. Now I will say that I'm not a professional writer or anything like that. I'm not an expert, but I have been writing for a couple of years. I have written for companies online, but now I mainly write for my blog and website. So I'm just going to give you an example of how this can be done and kind of give you some ways in which you can write an article, a couple of tips and to do this. So first, what you want to do is you want to start off with a title, a catchy title if you can, something that would create interest or draw interest. A lot of people say that controversial subjects or topics, like what you would read on a magazine, some of those magazines when you're checking out at the grocery store, they tend to draw and create a lot of interest, and so people want to read those. And so that's the same technique can be incorporated into writing online. Of course, a lot of people may even share that article, so that's just something to keep in mind. But you definitely want to come up with your title first. So my title here for this article that I'm just using as an example is Get Paid to Publish Your Books, Music, and Films. And so you want to start off with an introduction. And then right here, this particular article is kind of like a question and answer style, which I would think would be somewhat, I would compare it to maybe like an interview, but more of a discussion kind of technique that you would follow through with. You're going to be asking questions. I try to ask questions that I think the reader would want to know as well, and then tell them the answer and outline how that works. And you just go through that same method. And I think that these are really easy because they help me to somewhat stay on topic and on the subject, because I'm just going to ask a question and then I'll reveal the answer. Another technique that I use is somewhat of a listing style, where I will you know write an article, come up with the title and all of that, and then I'll either do this with a numbered list or either with bullets. Excuse me. And I'll do it that way. For example, this particular article here, 15 ways to make passive income at home. So even though there's not numbers or bullets here, this is a list style because I actually list out or lay out the different ways in which you can do this. Writing articles, ebooks, blog, advertising, videos, job roles, flipping websites, all kinds of different ways that I list those out, and then I detail what that's going to involve and how you can get started doing that. And then in the conclusion, which is very important, you will encourage the reader to take action or to follow through with what you said. So when you write an article, what you need to have first is you need to have your introduction. Then you need to have the body of your article, which my body for this article is a listing style. And then the conclusion. So you're going to summarize everything that you've already stated, and then encourage the reader to take some form of action or to follow through with what you said. A lot of times if people tend to remember the last thing that you said, so it's very important that you conclude that article with some form of action. That's what I try to do. So here's an article that I wrote a while ago that's entitled 3 Ways to Make More Money on Post Loop. Now, if a person's already writing there, then they will definitely want to know how they can do this, how they can make more money on post loop. And so I'm real specific in this title and outline 3 ways in which this can be accomplished. And so in the introduction, what I would recommend is that you have at least 3 sentences there to kind of, reveal your objective. And you want to be really short with that, kind of line out or your objective, what this article is intending to do. How are they going to benefit from it? Because those first 3 sentences will either grab that reader or you may lose their interest. So you want to kind of be short with your introduction and then get right into the meat of your article, which is the body. And so now you're going to explain to the reader how this can be accomplished, or how they can overcome this objective or challenge or whatever it is that you're talking about. And so you're going to give them practical ways in which this can be done. Either it can be done through a listing style, bullet style, however you want to do that. In this particular article, I did incorporate stats for the readers so that they would know exactly how much they can earn and all of that. And then I concluded it with, a form of action that they would need to take. They could watch another video, they could watch a video for more information, or they could click here to get started and all of that. And then I even included a proof of payment. And that was just to add credibility to what I stated in this article so that the reader would know, okay, she's actually done this. And so, you know, she's talking from experience, and so that will just add more weight to the article that I wrote. But some examples are ideas that I was brainstorming about some articles that you could write. For example, like I said, controversial topics seem to draw a lot of interest, but for example, you could write an article on, is Bablu's a scam? Well, that particular company would have ongoing discussions, and have had discussions about that in the past. So if you were to write an article about that, I'm sure that it would generate a lot of interest. Another thing that I was thinking about too is, for example, you could write a tutorial how to do something, how you can make jewelry, how your children can start making jewelry, something like that. Show a person how they can do something, and that's a lot of the techniques and styles that I incorporate too in my articles, is how they can do this, how you can make more money doing this or that, something like that. You could also write an article about and be real specific, like you could line out, what did I do here? Like 5 top Google AdSense alternatives. Okay, so one thing that I thought about is you could write an article about 5 easy ways to sell your home. And in your introduction, you could even, talk about some of the challenges in doing this. In 2014, a lot of people may feel that it's difficult to try to sell your home. Is there any way that this can be overcome? Well, in this article, I will explain 5 easy ways that you can sell your home without having to spend a lot of money. Something like that. Just very simple. Keep it simple, and then kind of go into a listing style and list the 5 different ways in which they could do this. You could talk about how they could make sure the house is clean. Of course, you wouldn't want to assume that they already know this, but just highlight some things. Talk about how they could make sure the windows are clean and open and all of that, and make sure there's no dust around the home. Make sure the floors are nice and shiny. People, buyers to a home, like to see that. Also, another thing I thought about too, adding ambience in the home. For example, lighting candles, especially if the season is appropriate. If you have a fireplace, you could light the fire, or you could bake cookies and have a nice smell throughout the home while they're touring the home and all of that, and viewing your home. You could also, tell the reader that they can make any repairs before they show the home. If anything needs to be replaced or updated, maybe they want to change the knobs, in the kitchen, something that won't cost a lot of money to make sure it's affordable and practical. They could do that, or even, updating the walls with paint. That's a, affordable way to update your home. And and make it appealing to buyers. Something like that, just very easy things. Another way could be staging their home. Maybe they could add flowers around the home and landscaping the front yard so that it would look very inviting to people who come to look at your home. And even if need be, some people, may decide to replace their front door. That's one of the first things that a buyer will see, so you can mention that too as well. And also, a simple thing that they could do, excuse me, they could add photos to their listing, if they have it listed online, so that that potential buyer could see an inside view of the home, and that can encourage them to come and actually see it in person. So those are just some easy ways in which they could, use to incorporate so that they could sell their home faster, some things like that. You could definitely write an article about that. So that's just an example that I came up with. But like I said, there are a lot of topics that you could write about, and you can incorporate that kind of style, like a listing style. you know I think the question and answer style, like I said, it's really easy to do as well. Or you could do like a discussion format, and where you would talk to the reader just like you were having a conversation, and all of that. Now, there are a lot of companies, like I said earlier, that will pay you to write online. And on my Stay at Home Mom page, I have, I think, a list of a few companies that will pay you for your content. Make sure your content is original and all of that. But don't worry too much about your style of writing, because you will improve over time. The more that you do it, the better that you will get at it. And you will find that different styles and techniques may work for some, and then some may work for others. So whatever is easier for you and you feel more comfortable with, make sure you do that. For example, here, 21 sites that will pay you upfront to write online. So I list those out there, and you can look over that on this page if you want, and some other articles that I have on the Stay at Home Mom page. Now, in my next video, I'm actually going to show you guys a way to find more writing jobs, freelance writing jobs online. And an easy technique that I came up with that'll save you a lot of time if you're looking for, more companies that you can write for online, and how you can search for it on Google. So make sure you stay tuned for my next video. Now, if you have any questions or comments about anything that I talked about in this video, make sure you leave me those below. You can also go to Workers on Board Ask and Answer. It's actually in this page here, on this page, Q&A. You can go there and ask me a question, and I normally can get an answer to you faster there. So you can definitely go there as well. So like I said, hopefully this video was helpful, and it will encourage you to start writing online. Thank you guys so much for watching, and make sure you check out for my next video.